The next question is directed to Andrew Brooks, and I believe it's a three-part question. I'll ask it one section at a time. First part, the draft EIS indicates that parking spaces lost during the project will be placed on land in the Willets Point Special District. Was this information disclosed in the 2019 scoping process?
Thanks, Bill. So the need to relocate parking and temporary parking for the duration of construction was contained in the information provided out for the 2019 scoping process.
All right, the next part of the question is, does the current zoning in the Willets Point Special District allow for parking lots or parking garages?
Thanks again, Bill. So this is an issue that was recently raised in coordination with the city, that we're in discussion with the city Department of Planning and various other city agencies on right now, and we're discussing that issue with them currently.
All right, and the last part of this question, will a rezoning be subject to the city's uniform land use and review process?
So thanks again, Bill. Again, we're in discussions with the city on a lot of these elements because this issue was just recently raised in the process of review and coordination. That certainly is one thing that is being worked with the city agencies at this time. Any changes to the analysis that are needed to reflect this will likely be contained within the final EIS when it's issued in the spring. Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification. Next question goes back to Andrew Brooks. Was information about the MOU that the City of New York signed with the Port Authority about using land in the Willets Point Special District for parking prior to the scoping meetings explicitly disclosed during the scoping meetings themselves?
Thank you, Bill. I mean, this is about the third question that we've got on this issue so far. So, I mean, the information that we had available, that was made available to the FAA at the time that scoping occurred, was made available to the community during the scoping process. We did not withhold anything that we had, the scoping process that occurred from May to June of 2019, not just for this issue, but for every issue that we had information on was provided, and full disclosure of the proposed action at the time that it was known was made available at that time. There have been further refinements to the design. We discussed further refinements to the design when we came out to the public in January. That information was made available to folks to weigh in on, and during the alternatives review process that we had in January of this year. So I just want to be clear that all of the information that was made available to the FAA was made available to the public, both during the public outreach associated with scoping in May and June of 2019, as well as any project design refinements during January. Additionally, further project refinements have been discussed with the consulting party meeting process, and all participants in that process that have expressed an interest in joining that process have been made aware of all of the information as the refinements have occurred throughout the process. Thank you.
All right, Andrew, thank you for the clarification. This question is for Andrew Brooks, and it is the following. Andrew Brooks stated that the FAA had disclosed all documents it had to the public prior to the scoping meeting. This indicates that they did not have the MOU between the city and the Port Authority regarding the parking at Willets Point. Why did the Port Authority choose not to disclose information about the MOU that the City of New York signed with the Port Authority about using land in the Willets Point Special District for parking to the FAA prior to the scoping meetings?
Thank you, Bill. So if I said documents in my response before, it was meant to have been information. So all the information that we had, we made available, went into the scoping information. I just verified on the project website that the scoping information is reflective of the information that we had at the time the scoping was conducted. I encourage this questioner to ask this comment, write it in comment for a comment response. The representative we have from the Port Authority on to address questions was actually not employed by the Port Authority at the time of scoping. So it is not, I don't feel comfortable putting Hirsch in the position of answering a question that he was not party to employment with the agency at the time. So please, if the questioner can provide this comment in written comment, and we will address it in the final EIS. Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate that, Andrew.